Yesterday we looked at the sun avatars, so now let's take a look at the Robo monkeys and pairing them with the Perma Brew. As you can see, without the Perma Brew, they kind of do fairly weak, but when we add the Perma Brew up, this is going to be doing a lot more damage. It's a little bit weaker in terms of damage to the sun avatars, but in price, I'm pretty sure it can make up for it. Plus, it will have the advantage of having the 2 arms, so I can do some better micro, which will especially be pretty important on the map Dark Dungeons, which I'm going to be comparing it to. If you didn't see the video yesterday, you should check it out. It was definitely a really fun challenge, and it got 33,000 cash bear using that one, so we're going to be trying to look for a little bit more this time. As I said at the end of the video, this may not really seem like a lot, but it is very different compared to other towers, because once you buy the Perma Brew as a support tower, the value for defense that you spend when using a good Perma Brew synergy tower is a lot more for the damage to price ratio compared to buying other towers if you have something like a Lord of the Abyss, for example, doing support, or an overclock, which is capped to only being able to buff a certain tower a certain amount. So it is not really the greatest with cash bear, but we will be comparing them to head to head with cash bear. So just because it isn't a lot doesn't mean it isn't a bad tower. The Perma Brew is actually incredibly powerful for black borders too. So we're just trying to explore it based on these circumstances. So the early game is a little bit different. I think this one's a little bit cheaper, but nonetheless I'll be able to push through with just a few Jerry items. I'll be able to get the Juggernauts on each side and then build into the super monkeys. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, one really nice advantage that I'm going to have with the Robo monkeys is that I am going to be able to have a lot easier of a mid game. Compared to the Sun Avatar, it was a lot of micro, a lot of RNG. I had to use a lot of Jerry items here and there. But with this, I can just get up these Robo monkeys and have a pretty chill time going into the Perma Brew. Not very difficult. I'm going to have 1 2 3 0 and then 1 0 3 2. I'll have a third super monkey back there that I will later cape into another Robo monkey 2-3-0. The 2-3-0 is going to be able to do a lot more damage. I'll be able to get a little bit more pierce out of the 0-3-2 with the Sharpstone, which is pretty nice. It's not really the biggest thing ever, but I will be needing that to be able to pop purples and stuff like that for round 95. If you have another tower that will do that, you could kind of remove this from the equation, but it is kind of nice to have in the mid game because I won't really have to worry about that at all. And if you're doing a mid-game save up that goes, well, early game straight to mid-game that goes into the super monkeys, which I feel like is most of the time, you're kind of going to need this. And it is a pretty good way to kind of clump everything together into just the Robos so that you can have a guaranteed way to beat round 95. So overall, I think that really is the greatest approach to do with these guys. You get 1 2 3 0, 1 0 3 0 3 2. That's a mouthful. Save up to the Perma Brew, and then you'll be able to get a handful more. You just have to pre-place all of those darts so you can cape them without having to deal with the super monkey sized hitbox. If you place the darts before you use the cape, you can really cram them in under a triple discount very, very well. And this is where the strategy gets crazy value. You're getting insane value from having very good Perma Brew synergies, and on top of that, you're getting insane value from triple discounts. Being able to triple discount an absurd amount of money all very efficiently under all 3 discounts, which is something that really no other tower can do. So just the Sun Avatar and Robo Monkey Permabrew strategies really can take advantage of that. You can also Permabrew Dark Knights, which is kind of a funny thing to do. It's not really very effective because they don't make a whole lot of projectiles. It is the mass amount of projectiles that makes these strategies good. So you can do that. It's just not very good, but it is very, very funny. I will give you that. So it might be a fun thing to try here and there. But otherwise, this save up into Permabrew is not very difficult. I was able to go into it pretty smoothly, even on an expert map like Dark Dungeons. If you were doing an easier map, this would be a lot easier too, and definitely it would be a very easy black border. You could even throw Bunny into the mix if you want. So I'm able to just beat some of these rounds here, get the Permabrew, and we'll have a pretty swell time after that. Now, going into the late game, I was having a lot more issues with ceramics actually than I was with the Sun Avatars. The 3 Robo Monkeys is cheaper than 2 Sun Avatars, so that is something to put into consideration. But with this, I was having a lot of issues, and I ended up just buying an Arctic when they're on the top to be able to kind of deal with all of those ceramics that we're getting by, even with 3 of them on close targeting and doing some last and close targeting on top of that. It was still giving me a little bit of an issue. So overall, I think that just in terms of strength, the Robo Monkeys aren't necessarily as strong, but I actually think the strategy is just better in a way because it's easier to save up into, and overall they are a little bit cheaper, so you definitely can get more of them. And if you can pile that on, it does become a bit more efficient than the Sun Avatars, I want to say. They both can be triple discounted, so I definitely say they're both very strong and 2 good options, but overall I just kind of prefer the Robo Monkeys. And as you can see, when I get to the results, this will perform a little bit better, not by a whole lot, but just a bit better in comparison, because it is a pretty low amount of cash spare. It is a difference, I would say, but the ceramics definitely seem to be a little bit of an issue on the top side to me. I was able to beat some round 98 with a whole bunch of creepy idols though, kind of similar to the round 98 that I had with the Sun avatars, but I think it just took a little bit more luck and RNG altogether. I was able to use last targeting up there to be able to beat that top side without having to do much. Just some spikes at the back were kind of needed, and then this round 98 at the bottom with all those creepy idols was able to go down. For 99 and 100, I'm going to have the exact same approach with 2 genies, but this time on round 100 I had less damage, which I was actually kind of surprised. I thought they would do more damage to round 100, but I needed to get 3 maelstroms at the bottom to be able to take that out to win with just under 36,000 cash there, which is 3,000 more than the Sun avatars, so not a crazy amount. It did beat it out just by a bit. I had a pretty scuffed early game on both, as always it is using Jerry and stuff like that. So it was definitely interesting, 2 very good strats, and I approve of both of them. We'll check some out more later. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!